Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed at 1,000 subscribers. I'll be posting a special video. I lay his ring on the table, metal clicks once, then breathe. I'm Nora, 31, and this is the moment I earned. The door opens hard and both kids step in. Their eyes find the ring first and then me. No one sits, which means no mercy. The boy unfolds a paper with steady hands. He reads fast like ripping tape. If you marry her, we cut you off. He looks at his father and lifts his chin. I grip the chair back and hold my face still. Evan reaches for the paper and the girl pulls it away. She keeps the page close to her chest like a badge. I move the ring 2 inches toward him. My fingers shake once then stop. The girl tracks the motion and frowns. Is this where you live now? Her voice lands cold. Or just where you hide? Evan steps closer to her and stops. The boy stays near the door like a guard. They planned this together and I walked into it. I'm here because your father asked. My voice sounds thinner than I wanted. The girl laughs once and folds her arms. He asks a lot when he wants something. The boy's eyes soften for a second, then harden again. Evan starts listing options: counseling, space, separate holidays. The girl taps the table with one nail. Options are for people who kept their word. The boy nods without looking at me. I swallow the urge to defend myself and stay still. We also brought our conditions. The boy holds up the paper again. Postpone the wedding for a year, no overnights when we visit, a written apology to us. The girl adds one more without blinking. And you stop contacting your old boss. The last demand cuts deeper than I expect. Evan glances at me and then at his kids. I feel the room tilt a little and reset. Fine. My mouth forms the word before doubt can speak. The girl blinks once like she expected a fight. We'll want proof. The boy's shoulders stay squared. Dates, screenshots, an actual plan. Evan tries to bridge the space with open hands. The girl moves one step back and stares at those hands. I realize my next move decides the rest. I angle the apology toward action. You'll have it by morning, every point, no spin. The boy drops his gaze to the ring again. The ring goes away until then. He does not wait for permission, he waits for respect. I lift the ring, feel the weight, and close the box. The click hangs between us like a verdict. Evan's mouth opens then closes without sound. The girl breathes out and steadies her jaw. I slide the box across to him and do not blink. Therapy starts first, alone. The boy's voice cracks and then steadies. Not a performance, not a stunt. Evan nods once and finally finds his voice. Book tonight, I'll send the receipt. The girl watches me, not him, waiting for one slip. Here is the slip I almost make. I almost say I loved him before the papers. I almost explain the mess like math. I bite down on the story building behind my teeth. I hold the apology ready and leave the reasons bleeding. The girl pockets the paper and gives a small nod. The boy opens the door and keeps a straight face. If you marry her now, we're gone. He is not bluffing and we all hear it. The door closes with quiet precision, which scares me more. Silence stays heavy and deliberate. Evan stares at the box and then at me. We can fix this. His voice is low and rough. I feel the truth arrive like thunder far away. We will not fix it by rushing. We will earn it or lose everything. I open my laptop and start typing before fear catches up. No preamble, I write to them directly. I take responsibility in clear lines. The cursor blinks like a dare. Evan hovers behind me and breaks the air. Let me help. He reaches for the keyboard. I close it with my palm and look up. You get therapy booked tonight, everything else is mine. He rubs his face and steps back. 3 sessions starting tomorrow. His phone lights his cheekbones as he scrolls. Earliest availability at 8. The appointment confirmation lands in both our inboxes like a timestamp. I reopen the screen and cut my draft in half. Every excuse goes, every softener goes. I keep statements that cost me skin. My hands steady because I finally stopped bargaining. College money, he points at the list on the counter. I'll move funds tonight. He taps through banking screens with tight focus. They'll see it by morning. Numbers shift and commitments turn real. I gather receipts that actually matter. Resignation letter, exit interview, the date I left that job. I pull the PDFs and rename each file with brutal clarity. My chest loosens a notch because paper trails don't lie. My phone vibrates, unknown number. I answer and hear a woman breathe once. I want the apology in writing by 8. Her tone is calm like a locked door. She hangs up before I can respond, which tells me everything. I paste the letter into an email and add the attachments. Subject line is plain and visible. No slogans, no performative empathy. I read it out loud to hear where I'm hiding. Cut the last line, Evan's voice is. I at her now, it sounds like you want them to comfort you. I delete it and feel heat crawl up my neck. He's right and I hate that he's right. I record a short video because they like receipts. 30 seconds, eyes on lens. I state what I did and what I'm doing next. I stop before my voice cracks and keep the first take. Send it. Evan's hands stay in his pockets. I'll forward the therapy schedule to them as well. He doesn't meet my eyes, which registers like a bruise. We are on the same side and still far apart. I hit send and watch the progress wheel spin. The files climb out into the dark. I breathe through a stubborn tremor. The delivery checkmark appears and I feel nothing yet. A message pings back faster than I expected. 2 words. Received, pending review, no emoji, no extra punctuation. I read it twice because it sounds like a courtroom. Another vibration, this time a new demand. No wedding planning activities for 12 months. I stare at the text and count to 4. Confirmed. I type it before my mind invents loopholes. My inbox dings again with an attachment from their side. A simple contract drafted in plain language. Signatures required before midnight. I call it what it is, a boundary with teeth, and open the file. Evan's jaw flexes while he scans the terms. This locks us out of weekends for now. He keeps reading and winces. They want monthly updates on progress. He looks at me because the updates will be our fuel or our fire. I'll write those. I grab a pen and mark the lines I can meet. I mark the ones I cannot promise without lying. We acknowledge the reporting, but timing must stay flexible. He exhales like that sentence saved oxygen. I send back our edits and affirm time to talk. 10 minutes later, the daughter replies with a link. Shared folder for documents, audit trail enabled. I drop everything we have into it and watch the status bars climb. Footsteps in the hallway, fast, then slower. A sharp knock lands like a countdown. Evan opens the door halfway. The girl stands with her phone raised but not recording. We're here for devices you used while he was married. My stomach flips because that wasn't on the list. She holds out a sealed pouch without blinking. Mirror the data, we'll delete it after the lawyer checks the timeline. Evan reaches for it and hesitates. I step forward and place my phone inside. The boy appears behind her with a small drive. You can watch the transfer. His voice wobbles and sets hard again. He connects cables and starts the copy. The progress bar crawls and every second drags like wet rope. Anything else? I keep my tone even because shame loves flinching. The girl considers and then points at my desk. Work tablet 2. I hand it over and feel a clean pain. They are erasing my shortcuts one by one. While the transfer grinds, the boy studies my email. He reads the apology again and again. No passive voice. He taps the screen once. Good. I stay silent because winning style points won't save us. The copy completes and he unplugs the drive. The girl seals the pouch and tucks it under her arm. Therapy appointments must be on the calendar, we can see. Evan nods and shares the schedule in 3 clicks. The invites fly like small grenades. She turns to leave, then stops in the doorway. You'll both write what you're changing before Sunday. Her eyes sharpen on me because my part isn't optional. I answer like a vow. I'll send mine by noon. They disappear down the hallway and the quiet returns. Evan closes the door and presses his forehead against the frame. This is warfare, he whispers like he just named it. I open the contract again because naming it doesn't end it. We sign at 11:57 with shaking hands. The digital stamps appear on both copies. My body loosens and then tenses again. I know what I've traded for this brittle piece. At 1 in the morning, I start the next document. Not another apology, a plan I can follow under pressure. Concrete steps, specific timelines, nothing that relies on someone else behaving. Evan drifts into the bedroom and stops. You coming? His voice carries hope and dread in equal measure. I glance at the open folder and shake my head once. Not tonight, I need to finish before they wake. He lingers in the doorway and finally walks away. The apartment hums with small noises I usually ignore. I type until the words stop hiding. The clock moves toward dawn and I keep going because hesitation costs more than sleep. Just before sunrise, the shared folder refreshes. A short note from the daughter sits on top. We will review your plan at noon. The line ends there, sharp and final. I stare at it and feel the day already tilting. I hit join and their faces load before mine. The daughter checks the clock and lifts her chin. The boy holds a notebook like a shield. Evan sits beside me with shoulders tight. I brace for the first swing. Open your plan. Her tone cuts clean. I share the screen and scroll to step 1. S. He leans forward and taps her own trackpad. Stop there. What happens if he backslides? The question lands like a trap. Immediate pause on us. My throat dries and recovers. Report sent same day. The boy writes 3 words and underlines them twice. Evan shifts in his chair and stares at the floor. I keep my focus on the list. Add a boundary course for you. She doesn't blink. Not couples, personal. I type it into the timeline and set a date. Certificate uploaded within 2 weeks. The boy watches my hands and nods once. A test with a deadline tightens everything. Second item, she points with her jaw. Parenting time is sacred. Evan looks up fast and holds her gaze. No overlap with your visits. We will not cross paths. The boy draws a heavy line on the page. I feel the room tilt toward enforcement. My recital is Saturday. She keeps her jaw firm. He attends alone. You stay away. Evan flinches like someone pulled a wire in his chest. I mark the calendar and breathe through the sting. I see how this ends if I push. Third, the boy glances off screen, then back. All legal updates go to Mom's lawyer. Evan nods and opens a draft email. We will disclose every change within 24 hours. The daughter tilts her head toward me. You copy the thread. Fourth, she exhales slowly and resets. No displays online for a year. I delete the private board I made at 2 a.m. I show the deletion on screen so they believe it. The boy checks a box on his list and watches me again. I hate how much that look matters. A new face enters the call without warning. Their mother appears calm and composed. We will monitor compliance and adjust as needed. Evan straightens and folds his hands. We accept the oversight. My pulse knocks because her presence changes stakes. Final item for today, she keeps her voice even. A neighbor will confirm Saturday boundaries. Evan tenses because that means surveillance. I stare at the camera and choose not to break. Send the name, I will avoid the block. Then we proceed. She nods once and leaves the screen. The daughter clears her throat and softens half a degree. Recital at 3, he arrives early, he leaves without you. The boy turns his notebook around so we can see. A checklist waits for signatures. We sign the checklist with quick strokes. Digital stamps flash in the corner. The daughter clicks save like closing a case. We'll talk Sunday at noon. The call ends and my reflection floats on the blank screen. I already see Saturday like a cliff. Evan stands and presses his palm to the wall. I hate this part. He drags in air and lets it out. I want you there. I keep my voice steady because wishful thinking breaks plans. I will watch from the recording link if allowed. A message chimes before he can answer. A shared drive request from their mother appears. Title reads Event Proofs. I add our calendar screenshots in the recital note. Another chime follows with a final instruction. No contact during performance or 30 minutes after. I reach for my bag and stop. The phone is still in their pouch from last night. You take mine. Evan offers his with an unlocked screen. Use it for submissions only. I nod because small logistics keep bigger promises intact. Trust is counted in these tiny exchanges. We start a dry run of Saturday. He picks up keys and sets them down. He walks to the door and pauses for timing. I stand back like a shadow and say nothing. I feel the space our choices create and it still hurts. At 2:45 on the day, he texts one word. Inside, I stand by a coffee shop 3 blocks away. People stream past and I study reflections in the glass. A neighbor watches the entrance with folded arms. They clock him and then scan the street for me. 3:11, a blurry clip arrives from the boy. He is on stage and tight with focus. My eyes sting and I swallow it down. A second clip follows with a wider angle. Evan is visible in the corner and alone. 3:50, the neighbor aims a lens at the sidewalk. I step back into the shop and let a couple exit. I keep the door between me and the camera. 30 minutes starts now and drags like bad music. 4:25, Evan texts clear. I walk the opposite direction and turn twice. He meets me 2 streets over with empty hands. We do not hug because we know we are watched. We stare at each other like we forgot how to be normal. Notifications light his screen in a rush. A single line from the daughter lands first. Thank you for honoring the boundary. Another from their mother follows with a shorter line. Continue this pattern next month. The boy sends the bow at the end and a tiny smile. I feel something shift but hold my ground. We do not celebrate. We open the shared folder and upload timestamps. We check the requirements like pilots before landing. He sets next week's therapy and forwards the invite. I write my change list for Sunday and keep it direct. Midnight approaches and another ping breaks. The quiet, a new document sits on top with tomorrow's agenda. The daughter added one more test for the week. Dad attends a midweek dinner with us. You remain offline until the next morning. I stare at the line and sense the trap, not a cruel trap, a careful one. They are measuring if I can live with pauses. I close the laptop and accept the next stretch of empty space, earned space, quiet space, the kind that either heals or freezes. The buzzer drills 3 times, paperwork waits on the threshold. I open the door and a courier lifts an envelope. Temporary order effective tonight, no proximity at family events. Violations reported immediately. My stomach tightens as the stamp confirms teeth. The midweek dinner starts in 1 hour. I text him 2 words, do nothing. He replies with one, understood. I forward a photo of the order to the shared link and watch the upload crawl like deliberate pressure. He heads across town while I sit on my hands. Our earlier promise pulls like a leash. No contact during their time, the urge to follow claws at the edges anyway. I lock my screen and stare at the blank tabletop. 6:20, a ping lands despite the quiet rule. Unknown number, bathroom, 30 seconds. I answer and hear running water. The boy speaks fast without drama. Is the engagement paused until next year? I close my eyes and choose. Yes, his breath catches, then the line goes dead. I move 2 blocks farther from the restaurant. A neighbor I recognize lingers by a parked car. They check faces and take notes on a scrap. I pivot down an alley and feel my heart settle into a hard rhythm. I will not be baited tonight. 7:04, Evan's message arrives on time, seated, no one else. My fingers twitch toward a question and stop. I type 1 sentence and delete it. I remember the order and put the phone face down. Another ping. The daughter sends a single photo, two menus and folded hands, no commentary, just proof of control. I swallow a heat that wants to turn defensive. I choose silence because silence costs less than a misstep. 8 sharp, my screen lights with the therapist's number. He asked for a joint session now, papers rustle on his end. I advised against it until the family meeting. I grip the chair and force my voice even. I agree, keep him there. The line clicks off and the room grows tight again. 8:17, a short clip arrives from the boy. Their 3 heads bent over the table, a pointed glance at an empty 4th chair. Message received. They are measuring my restraint, not my intentions. I set the phone face down again and wait out the pulse in my neck. 9 exactly, his text lands like a lifeline. Leaving, I stand and do not move toward the door. The neighbor across the street checks their notes again. I let the elevator pass and take the stairs. Small punishments help me remember the stakes. At the corner, another notification interrupts my steps. Shared drive update from their mother. New folder title reads compliance logs. They added a grid for schedules, payments, and attendance. I open it and start filling boxes before my doubt grows teeth. He reaches our floor and stops in front of the apartment, keys in hand, jaw tight. It was tense. He leans against the wall and looks away. They tested me with future dates. I nod once and keep my voice level. Did you commit? He nods back and taps his chest twice. We sit at the table and he lists each demand, weekly one-on-ones with each kid, no overnights near their plans, a video response to their review call on Sundays, everything channeled through the visible calendar. My pen moves until the page looks like structure. The door buzzer drills again and my shoulders jump. Another envelope slides under the frame. Interim housing recommendation attached to the order. The line hits like a hammer, separate residences until conflict stabilizes. The air shifts as the meaning lands. He stares at the words and then at me. They want me to move out. His hands start to shake and he hides them. I can fight this. I slide the document back toward him and take a long breath. Fighting them means losing them. He hears it even if I do not say it. He calls a short-term landlord and gets a vacancy. 2 weeks minimum, extendable. He looks at me again and waits. My throat closes around pride and opens around choice. I pack a small bag for him without drama because drama would burn everything. Before he leaves, I open the compliance grid and add tonight. Dinner attended, no contact, evacuation plan accepted. He watches each entry like a man counting spare oxygen. He kisses the air near my temple and stops himself just short. The hallway feels longer than usual as he walks. He pauses at the stairwell and turns his head. Don't follow. His voice wavers and then firms. We can't risk it tonight. I lift my hand and lower it slowly. The door swings closed and the sound echoes like a warning. Midnight approaches and I draft tomorrow's update. Not a plea, a record I owe. Outline the housing change in 4 lines. I attach the lease confirmation and the timestamp on his calendar. My chest hurts in a clean, useful way. One more message lands before I power down. The daughter again, 3 sentences. We saw the order acknowledged. We saw the move scheduled. Keep this pace or we pause contact. I stare at the words until they blur and then steady. I place the phone on the counter and step back. The apartment feels unfamiliar without him. I let that emptiness instruct me instead of scaring me. This is the cost of a boundary you actually respect. The cost I should have paid a year earlier and now must pay with interest. I dial at noon and the screen stays black. A new link appears with a short note. Use this room instead. I click and their faces load in silence. My pulse finds a hard drum I cannot mute. Start with your change list. The daughter sits straighter and waits. I open the document and read it clean. No hedging, no soothing language. She watches for slips like a medic watching breath. Add one thing, her finger rises a fraction. You cut off any friend who defends you publicly. I feel heat climb and keep it down. Agreed. Immediate takedown requests, screenshots provided. She nods once and moves on without praise. The boy holds up a calendar printout. Therapy recorded, dinner recorded, lease recorded. He lowers the page and pulls a coin through his fingers. 1 violation yesterday. He looks straight at Evan and doesn't blink. I look at him and then at the phone on the table. An old text sits in the thread like a trap. A heart emoji during their window, automatic, thoughtless, time stamped at 7:20. My gut drops because he forgot and I didn't catch it. Wasn't intentional. Evan rubs his thumb across his palm. I tap the last icon by habit. The daughter lifts a brow like a judge bored with excuses. Mistake or message, it lands the same. The air thins around us and I brace. Consequence is 72 hours of no contact. She marks the time like a clerk. You'll both respect it. Evan nods and stares at the table grain. I answer for myself because evasion reads as guilt. Understood. Clock starts now. A new notification crawls across my laptop. My sister posted a defense with a tagged photo. The comment thread spits sparks under it. The boy's jaw tightens like a door chain. The daughter's mouth hardens into a line that could cut. I call my sister on speaker and keep it brief. Delete everything, now no arguments, silence, then a frustrated huff through teeth. Fine. The post disappears and the thread vanishes, but the screenshots already live in their folder. Strike recorded, the daughter types 2 words and stops. One more public incident and we freeze all talks. I bite the inside of my cheek until the sting calibrates me. I'll handle collateral, you won't have to remind me again. Their mother joins the room with a raised hand. Next item, he attends the boys' checkup on Wednesday. She pauses just long enough to let me flinch. You remain off-site and offline from noon to 4. She waits for me to object, I don't. Evan opens a fresh window and forwards the appointment. He adds transportation details and buffer time. He shares the plan to the visible calendar with exact blocks. The daughter scans the entry and angles the screen so we see our own reflection. Last piece for today, the mother's voice never spikes. An impact letter from you to me, 30 lines maximum. She leans in like she smells weak structure. No persuasion, only actions and the harm you understand. The deadline lands at 6 tonight. I end the call and set a timer for 4 hours. Evan stands but lingers behind my chair. I can help with wording. I shake my head and open a blank page. If I can't write it alone, it isn't real. First draft comes like glass. I cut it down until verbs carry weight. I name each decision without varnish. I list consequences that are not mine to forgive. The page stares back without mercy and I keep going. Halfway through, another text drops with a new curve. The boy invites his father to a late practice. He adds a line for me that burns and teaches. If you show up by accident, we walk. I reply with 1 word and a period, noted. 3 neighbors pass the door while I write. Footsteps stop then move again. Someone slides a note under the threshold and walks away. I pick it up and read the printed sentence. We see you trying, do not sprint. I breathe once, long and precise. I finish the letter and strip the last 2 lines. I record it as audio as well because tone matters. I attach both files to the shared drive with steady hands and watch the bar reach 100. At 5:50, a new message arrives. Review scheduled for 6:15, wait in the room. I sit in front of the camera and stare at my own face. The second hand on the wall clock climbs like a creature with claws. They enter at 6:16 and nobody speaks first. The mother looks D. Own then up, this one holds. She closes the file and places it aside. The daughter narrows her eyes but does not argue. The boy leans back and unspools his shoulders a notch. Then another test. The mother steeples her fingers and resets. You will handle the pharmacy pickup on Friday without contact. She points at me and then at the calendar. You will send the receipt within 10 minutes of leaving. Evan tries to cut in and I lift a hand. Fine, I'll route through the shared link. The daughter adds a quiet instruction with sharp edges. Use a driver service, no curbside handoff. I write it down and feel my jaw ache with focused restraint. We close the call and the apartment falls into a different quiet. He reaches for me and stops midway. I keep forgetting we're visible. He curses under his breath and steps back. I'll move the last boxes tonight. I nod once and face the clock again. The 72-hour window stretches ahead like a roadblock. I clean my inbox of anything resembling romance. I mute shared groups that still use our names in one line. I build a checklist for Friday's pickup and number each step. At 9:30, the daughter pings one final time. Her message is short and unadorned. Dad won today. You held your side. Keep this for a week and we review school events. I lock my screen and hold the praise like a fragile cup. I stand at the door and listen to the hallway breathe. A neighbor coughs and a dog scratches and life goes on. The ring stays boxed on the shelf and that box feels heavier every hour. The weight is a metronome I cannot ignore. I start the timer and step into the pharmacy line, 10 minutes from receipt to upload. The rule sits on my tongue like a coin. A clerk asks for the birth date and checks a screen, not authorized. The second hand grabs my throat. I hold up the written note and wait. The clerk scans it and shakes her head. We need a direct call. I open the messaging thread and type 3 words, request confirmation now. My thumb hovers while the timer eats seconds. A new alert flashes with the mother's initials. Approved for pickup today, no side conversations. The clerk reads the message and reaches under the counter. I pay and shoot a photo of the receipt. 7 minutes gone and counting louder. Outside the door, my ride cancels in a blink. Surge pricing spikes and mocks me. I start jogging toward the next block. The package bounces against my ribs like a warning. 9 minutes and 30 seconds and no car. I snap a picture of the meter clock for proof. I hit upload and watch the bar crawl. It freezes at 97% and my heart claws. Then it hits complete at 9:59. The folder shows the file like a lifeline. 2 dots appear in the family chat. The daughter posts 1 word, logged, then another line I didn't expect. Thank you for not improvising. I stare at the screen and let my lungs catch up. A small win that feels like borrowed air. Sunday arrives and I open the call on time. The boy tilts his head toward the table. One more action today. He slides something into view and I blink. A little sealed case sits next to his notebook. Return the ring or store it under neutral custody. Evan looks at me and then away. His jaw pulses once like a glitch. That's extreme. The daughter's gaze doesn't move. So was our week. The quiet in the room presses down on my back. I draw a line on my notepad and give it a name. Father first, partner later. I feel the truth burn and cool. I'll deliver it today into third-party storage. Evan's shoulders drop and then stiffen again. He hears what I'm choosing. The mother leans forward as if weighing a stone. I will not hold it. She folds her hands and leaves them still. Use a bank box listed under counsel. Send the key location in writing. My mouth dries and I answer anyway. Done. After the call, Evan paces like a caged runner. 2 years on pause is what they want. He looks at the ceiling as if it might speak. I don't know if I survive that. I pick up the case and feel its bite. I don't know if they survive us rushing. He stops and covers his face with both palms. I want you. His voice lowers to a gravel I barely recognize. I also want them. He drops his hands and meets my eyes. I can't lose either. The admission lands like a flare in fog. Then we decide who goes first. I set the case between us and draw a breath. I choose them first. The words leave me and don't come back. I'm taking this to the box. I'm stepping out of weekends. I'm stepping out of pictures. A short tremor moves through his hands and stops. He nods without argument and that hurts more. I'll walk with you to the bank. He reaches for the door and then retreats. No, I can't be seen with you today. The rule cuts both ways and I honor it. I book a cab and ride in silence. The clerk at the bank clicks through forms without curiosity. I place the case inside and turn the key. The metal slides with a small scrape. We'll hear forever. The receipt prints with a date that will anchor me. Outside, the daughter waits near the steps like a sentinel. She doesn't approach. She simply lifts her phone for the time stamp. I open my notes and type 5 words. Locked, key with appointed counsel. She nods once and pockets the proof. Last task for the quarter. Her voice arrives without heat. Delete the registry and public engagement note. She watches me unlock the account and scrub the remnants. The page refreshes into a blank glare that feels deserved. Audit complete, she says, almost breathing. I walk 2 blocks and my phone buzzes again. A rumor blog posts an old photo with a gloating caption, wedding back on anonymous source. My stomach flips hard and then steadies. I screenshot it and send a takedown to the host. Evidence attached, timeline included. Within an hour, the link dies and a new message appears. The boy sends a thumb hovering between up and down. Not celebrating, I text back, just cleaning. He replies with a small period, gate closed, noise contained, lesson burned in. Evening comes and Evan's name glows on the screen. He uses our shared calendar, not messages. Note reads simple and heavy, starting longer program at therapist next month. He adds another line like a stitched edge. I will not ask for more time than they give. I sit on the floor and let the week pass through me. I picture his face tonight at a table that isn't ours. I picture the ring asleep in a box I can't touch. I feel the architecture of a different life rising brick by brick. Before midnight, the mother sends a last instruction. No contact stretch for 14 days. She adds 2 words I didn't think I'd see, voluntary trial. I agree and log it with a steady hand. Silence can be cowardice or courage. We are about to learn which one. I close the laptop and stand in the doorway. The apartment keeps its own kind of witness. I press my palm to the wall where his shoulder once rested. Be there, father, I whisper to the empty room. If there's anything left after, we'll find out. The final alert lands as I kill the light. A calendar invite from the daughter schedules a review in 6 months. Title reads simply, status check, no promises. I tap accept and set the phone down face first. The next sound is my breath learning a slower beat.